What is up, y'all? Welcome to another wonderful Triple S Productions. I am your host with the most, the mayor of the drive, Andrew Brown, and I am excited today to bring you another video celebrating the awesome food scene we got here in Canada. Now, even from that intro, you might be assuming I'm a born and bred Canadian with how hard I ride and die for Vancouver, especially if you're a newer viewer to the channel and have only seen my past couple of videos. But actually, you would technically be false there. See, I originally was born in the United States. I moved here about 5 years ago, and I thankfully have become a permanent resident here. But at least I can say, as of currently, just because you move to another country, they aren't revoking American citizenships. So technically, I am still an American. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Not gonna shy away from my past. Very happy to live here and love it in Vancouver. So don't plan to go anywhere anytime soon. However, as an American, that does give me a unique perspective on some things Canadian, as I didn't necessarily grow up with them for my entire life. So I have gotten used to the whole new food and snack scene here, and today I'm gonna be checking out many different snacks that I have come across, at least on the West Coast, that I do not believe you can get anywhere in the US. That's right, baby, Canadian exclusive snacks. And I'm gonna be doing a quick tier rating for them and let you, the viewers, know what I think are my personal favorites. And maybe you too as well could sound off below on what I may have missed out on, because this is again from a West Coast perspective. I know there's probably some stuff out on the East Coast that's way more popular, so let me know down there as well, and maybe I'll try and check it out the next time I'm out there. But before we get into these rankings, you know what's about to come right now. I know you know. Even if this is the first time visiting the channel, you've been on YouTube, so you know what I'm about to say. Please, please make sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when we've got videos coming out. We've also got a link tree in our description that'll go to all of our other socials. Follow us there on all platforms. We've got content that is exclusive there that we drop, some more fun stuff, collaboration with other good local businesses. If you want to stay tapped into what's happening in Vancouver, especially East Vancouver, make sure to follow us and subscribe to this channel. I got a whole lot more good stuff coming out, and I cannot wait to share it with you. And if you haven't, you know, this is your first time coming across this and you're a Vancouverite like myself, go check out some of our other fun videos that we've got. So without further ado, let's just get right into it and start trying some stuff and start getting some rankings going. All right, now first up on the docket, I am gonna be coming in with a real heavy hitter. Something that I think people who haven't even necessarily been to Canada before know about as a snack here, and that is ketchup flavored chips. I got the Lay's ones in particular. I mean, Lay's is kind of the most iconic brand, if we're not gonna lie. But pretty much every type of chip maker has a ketchup chip that they have in their arsenal, especially here in Canada, because apparently someone had the genius idea to put ketchup flavoring on chips. But how good is it actually? I know that the people here cannot get enough of it, but what do I think about it? Let's break into it and see where it stacks up. Now, I obviously have had ketchup flavored chips before. I am actually a recovering chip addict. Chips are like my kryptonite snack. I absolutely love them, love them, love them. I'll crush a bag, no problem, in my sleep, awake, anytime, no matter how amount of full I am. So I have been cutting down on the amount of chips that I've been eating lately. These are a very interesting flavor to me though. They're almost, when you first bite them, I think that they really go to 10 on the vinegar. You know, like some ketchups, especially the Canadian ketchups, I find they're kind of more on the vinegary side. That's what sets them apart. It feels like to make artificial or whatever the flavoring for these chips are, they have to turn it up to 10. So that's kind of the first thing that punches you in the mouth a little bit. And then the ketchup flavor sort of settles in from there. So it definitely is ketchup flavored, but I wouldn't say it necessarily tastes exactly like real ketchup would. I don't know if that's necessarily a shocker to anybody, but it is the facts. It's not bad though. I do think Canadian ketchup tastes better than the ketchup I remember back in the States. I didn't used to be a big ketchup fan growing up, but a lot of places I go here, you get ketchup with pretty much everything, anytime you have fries, anything like that. And I thought just because people were so obsessed with it, I'll give it a try. And I have to say, I do like it a lot more. I don't know, it tastes more real to me. However, for the ketchup flavored chip, while they are a very solid chip for me, they're not gonna be anywhere up in my top tiers, especially with what I know we have coming. And just generally speaking, as far as a snack, it's good. I wouldn't be mad if I ever got it or if I ended up having to have it, but it's definitely nowhere near my favorite snack or favorite flavor of chip I've even ever had. So I think for me, the ketchup flavored chips are gonna have to go into the B tier. That's where they're at for now. I'll do a bit of a re-ranking when we get to the end just to make sure before I lock in my final votes. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna put ketchup in the B tier. Real middle of the road type of a snack, if I'm being completely honest. Oh, okay, now this one is quite interesting to me. So we have spicy all-dressed Ruffles. Now, all-dressed is a seasoning blend that I have seen here that's very, very popular in Canada. Again, a chip maker kind of a thing. A lot of different local artisan or, you know, all different types of chip brands that you can imagine that are cross-country make an all-dressed. What exactly is all-dressed seasoning? Okay, so all-dressed in the context of a Canadian potato chip refers to a specific flavor profile that is a blend of ketchup, barbecue, sour cream and onion, and salt and vinegar. Okay, so that makes sense. It's literally like the 4 Avengers of chip flavors all thrown into one. So I guess that totally makes sense why it's called all dressed. And I definitely am a fan of it. For some reason though, the Ruffles are like the most iconic one. I don't know if they invented the all dressed. Oh no, some company in Quebec apparently invented all dressed. That makes a lot more sense. But however, Ruffles have become very iconic and known for being the ones who sell them. And something about the ridges do serve themselves very well. Now, as I mentioned before, I have had all dressed chips before, but you'll notice these are actually spicy all dressed chips. So if you know anything about me, now, if you've seen any of my videos before, you'll know something about me, and that is I love spicy food. So I gotta be completely honest with these. I don't think I'm gonna get anything that's gonna sear my taste buds off of my tongue like some of my other spicy challenges I've done, but hopefully at least it'll give it an extra little kick that may send it up a bit. Let's check it out. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, that's so good. I mean, exactly like I kind of said, it's not exactly the same, like, it's not any kind of crazy punch or spice or anything like that. It's a little bit of a kick, you know, enough to like kind of warm up the mouth. Nothing crazy, nothing I would even really call spicy. If anything, just spiced. However, the all-dressed flavor with all of the different components you got going on, it's really just somehow hits perfectly. Like, you've got the barbecue flavor. You can taste the sour cream on top of it, the vinegariness of the ketchup. They all somehow do mix super well and almost just taste like a really good like loaded baked potato or something like that, but in chip form. And unlike the Lay's, this tastes a little bit more, I don't know, legit. Like, it's a thicker chip, you know, the dusting just tastes a little bit better. I don't know. I'm overall just much more a fan of this. Oh yeah, that's really good. I could absolutely bash like an infinite number of those. Very good, very good. So for my ranking of them, for now at least, I am gonna put the spicy all-dressed Ruffles up into the S tier. We've got our first S tier of the video, so we're already starting our song. Let's see where we go from here up next. Okay, so for this one, we've got Maynard's Fuzzy Peach Rings. Now I know Maynard's is more like a brand. They got all these kind of like gummy type deals, you know, multiple different stuff, all kinds of different flavors. I think the strawberry one is hikey, kind of the most like big and out there, but I tend to like more peach flavored stuff, especially recently. I saw these when I ran over to my 24-hour food market. Also, I can't believe I didn't start out for this. Shout out to the 24-hour food market that is on Commercial Drive. I am absolutely there all the time. They're my go-to place for some snacks whenever I'm having a craving, especially just something quick, you know, a bite, like the snacky snack type of foods. Man, oh man, in 24 hours, how can you beat that? Absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. They are all my homies. We're all best friends there. But yeah, grab some of these peach Maynards over there. I think this is from Toronto. So another bigger, like kind of huge candy maker I've heard of. Again, they have like a ton of different flavors. But for today, I'm going with the fuzzy peach ones. Let's see how much I like them. I've never had these before. I've actually never had any of the Maynard's candies before, but I know they're quite popular. So let's chuck into this and see how we're feeling. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, I like that. That surprisingly tastes more like a real peach than I thought it was going to. I'm not gonna lie. No, that's actually pretty good. I do really like that. That's pretty solid. That's gonna have to be up there. I love the peach flavor. I'm not a hater of artificial flavors, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes they just hit. Obviously, it's not the same as the real thing. Like, I'm not crazy, I understand that, but sometimes a good artificial flavor really hits, and this one actually tastes very, very close to the real deal. So maybe I'm just lying and saying it's artificial flavor. No, it is artificial flavor. So I nailed that one. But it tastes pretty legit, and I'm liking it, and I'm here for it. I could definitely snack on these. I also am very happy about the consistency of these. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big Jell-O kind of guy. Like, gelatin kind of gets under my skin. I'm not a huge fan of the texture, to be just completely real. I know it's a huge category in the snacks, and people absolutely love them and die for them, but I can't really do it. These are a lot softer and more chewy though. I can definitely do this, so very, very happy that that's the texture of what turned out here. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's solid. That's a solid snack food. I'm happy with that. It's definitely not a new go-to for me or anything like that, but that's a very, very solid snack food. I would be very happy to ever eat that again or try that again. So right now, I'm gonna put the Maynard's Fuzzy Peach up in the A tier. Got a good spread going on so far. Let's see what we got up next. Ooh, okay, so now we got Billy Bob's Jerky. This one is a West Coast specific one. I've actually seen it. They're out in Chilliwack. I think I drove by their farm one time. I remember seeing a big sign for it out by a pasture. So very excited for this one. It's the original flavor. Another BC local, solid chain throughout the lower mainland. So they gotta be doing something pretty good if they're getting good distribution like this. And I love me some beef jerky, that's for sure. The States actually does have very, very good beef jerky. I'm not gonna eat my words and assume that it was invented there, but beef jerky definitely feels like it's something very American, I'm not gonna lie. So I've definitely had a whole lot of it and some whole lot of very, very high quality beef jerkies before, so I'm interested to see how this one stacks up. This will be my first time trying it. They got some good beef jerky here too, so I'm not doubting, I'm just very curious to see what we got here. I did go original as well. I do like a teriyaki beef jerky, but I think for the fact of this matter, I should stick with the original flavoring and kind of see what we're dealing with from a base here. Okay, it's a little too chewy for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's good. It's not bad, but yeah, it's a little too chewy for me. Yeah, I think maybe, how old is this? No, it's still before the best before. Yeah, I don't know. This one isn't my favorite. You know, I know you gotta have, if you want it dry, you want your beef jerky to be dried out, have a good little crunch, not crunch, but like some snap to it. But you also don't want to feel like you're biting into like a piece of leather or something like that. And that's a little bit what I'm getting from this piece of jerky here. It's kind of thin too. Don't have a whole lot of good oomph to it. I don't know. This one isn't gonna be quite super high up on my list, I don't think. I'm gonna have to give, man. I hate to do this, but I think I'm gonna have to put Billy Bob's in the C list. It's gonna have to go in the C category. Sorry, I know I love supporting Canadian businesses and especially ones out here in the lower mainland, but I gotta be honest too, can't win them all. This one just doesn't quite do it for me. Now, we're getting into some of the good stuff here. This is a coffee crisp. Boom, a candy bar that I've only seen out here in Canada. And as you can see from the NHL logo that's sitting on this bad boy right now, this is a Canadian icon and a staple. And man, I can tell you why. God, I've had so many of these before, so I'm not gonna take too much longer. I'm gonna crack right into it and try it. I know I love these things. This came straight out of my freezer because, man, yeah, I'm addicted to these bad boys. I don't know if y'all can see that in there, but it's a good, delicious, kind of like wafery kind of a thing that they've got on the inside there of the cracker. Got like multiple layers of like wafering with a chocolate outside and some kind of coffee kind of, you know, flavoring on the inside of it there. So you bite into it, it's got a good crunch to it. I'm sure you can hear it in the, oh yeah. Like mostly hollow, but it's got a really good crunch. Almost like one of those, you know, chocolate like biscottis that you dip into a coffee and then take a bite out of, but in candy bar form. And when you freeze it, oh, just just tastes so good and has the perfect crunch and texture. Yeah, that bad boy's a winner for me. I'm gonna go for a coffee crisp any day of the week, any time of the week, no matter how I'm feeling. Coffee crisp definitely has to go into the S tier. That's a big win for you guys there. Love me some coffee crisp. All right, next up we got an O. Henry bar, which is a hilarious one. I always thought I saw it, and every time I see it and read it, I think of some like old like Leave It to Beaver kind of a thing. Like, yeah.
Oh, Henry, you little rascal, some old-timey music and
black and white. But yeah, I actually have never had one of these before. Again, only exclusively found in the Great White North. So I'm gonna crack right into this bad boy. I don't even really know what the flavor profile of what I'm about to have happen here is, but it's kind of chunky, kind of lumpy. So I'm guessing some type of nutty interior is what's about to befall me once I take a bite of this. Okay. So if I just happen to actually use some context clues and read right on the packaging to see what it says, I would have known that it has crunchy peanut, chewy fudge, creamy caramel, and a chocolate coating on the outside. And all of that hits you as soon as you have this. I mean, this is another really good one. I wasn't sure how I was gonna like it, but honestly, you put peanuts and chocolate and caramel together, those are like the, you know, Triforce, the holy union of amazing things to put into a candy bar. Honestly, anytime you mix peanuts and chocolate or peanut butter and chocolate in a dessert, that's probably gonna be what I'm gonna go to on the menu. So this is another slam dunk from me, if I'm being completely honest. Like, that is so good. However, it's not quite as good as some of the other guys that we've been talking about here. So I think that for this one, I'm gonna have to put the O. Henry bar in the A tier. Very solid, high ranking, but not quite all the way up there to the S tier, if I'm being completely honest. All right, now, as anyone who has ever been to Canada would know, it's a very granola place. There's lots of outdoors, there's lots of nature, lots of all that kind of camping stuff, and that's honestly a big part of what I love to do out here that I didn't do a whole lot of in the States. It's soaking up some nature time, touching grass, and getting back to the roots of the matter, and really helps you reframe everything, you know. And also, running a YouTube channel and being on social media all the time, it's nice to just disconnect and, you know, reconnect back to things that actually really matter in the real world. But that being said, even when you're out in nature, you still need some snacks to keep yourself powered up in case you need to, you know, fight a bear or swim across a river or something like that. So what better thing to do and to have than trail mix? And in particular, this one I'm trying today is from Basse. It's out of Montreal. Obviously, super French, and obviously, I am not a Quebecois. I have terrible pronunciation, so feel free to rip me up in the comments below for how I said that. Ooh, beautiful triple S stickers. Look at that. But yeah, anyways, I went, of course, with their West Coast mix because we're on the West here. Yeah, baby. Gotta represent. But yeah, want to try this one out. I've had quite a few of their other trail mixes before. They're quite good. They have some very interesting mixes of trail mix. They got like a bar mix, movie night mix, all kinds of different stuff that range in honestly different levels of tastiness to healthiness. So they got a little bit of everything, just depending on what exactly you're wanting out of your trail mix. I'm curious to see what this mix is gonna give me. We got roasted peanuts, raisins, dried cranberries, roasted cashews, dark chocolate chunks, and yogurt chips in this one. So that sounds like a pretty good mix of stuff, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, that's a really good trail mix. You know, it's got a good mix of fruits and nuts, so it feels like it's like kind of, you know, good and fueling up, but also the chocolate chunks and the yogurt chips make it feel like you're not eating literally just a caveman meal. I definitely would be happy to munch down on that when I was out camping. However, I do know for a fact they have better mixes out there. They got a peanut butter lovers one that I really like. I think I mentioned earlier, they got a bar mix one, and those flavors are more so what I'm actually drawn to, more of like a sweet, salty, kind of a nut mix. Yeah, this one isn't my necessary personal favorite of what they had, but definitely a mood, I would say, more so as far as a snack for me. So because of that, I'm gonna put the Basse, whatever it is, I'm putting the trail mix in the B tier for my rankings of it on this list so far. We'll see how that stacks out in the end. Okay, now this one is one that I've been wanting to try for a while. They're called Smart Sweet. They're another brand from out here on the West Coast, somewhere in Vancouver. Okay, I can't find exactly right now in my cursory research of where Smart Sweets is actually originally from in particular, but I know it's from somewhere in Vancouver. If y'all know, let me know down in the comments below. Somewhere in this West Coast area though, Metro Vancouver, there's a lot of different neighborhoods, so not 100% sure. But however, first time I ever saw Smart Sweet was on their Dragon's Den episode, which is, you know, big fan of on the channel. Got a couple of, you know, a couple of different examples of how I'm a fan of them there. But Smart Sweet's whole deal is that you shouldn't be able to not enjoy good quality candies without having too much sugar in your diet. And of course, we all know the ramifications of having too much sugar in your diet and how badly that has contributed to a lot of health factors and risks that are in a lot of people's lives. So it's always great to have a good alternative in case you want to satisfy your sweet tooth without having to worry too much about getting too much sugar in your diet. But that's not necessarily what we're here for. We want to know if they taste good. And for that, I'm gonna have to dig right in. Another one, I got the peach rings. Couldn't tell, again, I do like peaches. One of the very few ones. I mean, you know, I'm from Georgia, so it only makes sense. I love me some Georgia peaches. Anyway, we got these little peach rings here from Smart Sweet. About to go ahead and give them a try. That's good. It's really good. So it tastes very similar to the Maynard's one. The peach flavor is a little bit muted. I don't know if they like injected the Maynard's one with more artificial peach flavoring, or it just because of how they make these to keep the low sugar quantity kind of maybe mutes the peach flavoring a little bit. I don't think that's science. But either way, the peach flavor is a little bit muted too much for me here. The texture and consistency isn't quite it either. These are very good. They're good. Again, it would be one of those things where I would eat it and I would feel a whole lot better about myself after eating it because, you know, there's not as much of that guilt or anything like that. But ultimately, if we're being honest and we're doing a tier ranking, doesn't quite taste as good as the peach rings, if I'm just being completely honest. So it's not bad though. It does say on the package actually naturally flavored, so with that in mind, I do understand why the peach flavor isn't punching maybe as hard as the Maynard's one. But that being said, I'm not exactly getting fresh peach flavor when I'm biting into that either. It just tastes more like the muted artificial one. And I guess that's probably harder to get in, and good on them for not using any artificial flavorings or anything like that. Again, they're gonna get some points just for health factor and all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, I do think that means I'm gonna have to sit Smart Sweet down in the B category for me as well. All right, now we're getting into a real fun section of this show, and I'm getting hyper local with it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I am one of East Van's premier representatives when it comes to what we got going on and staying hip with the food scene around here, and that includes the snack scene. And there's no better place to go for some good snacks than the Drive Canteen. They absolutely knock it out of the park, and they make a whole ton of amazing snacks in store. I wanted to get their freeze-dried Skittles, but they were completely sold out when I went in to get there. Those would have been in the S tier absolutely 100% easily if they would have been around when I'm filming this video, but they were not, so I just had to go for some of their other amazing selections that they had. For example, here we got their Zach's gummies, which are some of their own custom-made gummy bears. Big shout out to one of the owners, Zach, aka Sketch Menace of the Drive Canteen. He is a Canadian legend. If you know, you know. You can look into it. But I am gonna try out and see if his gummies live up to such a big name. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how I'm feeling about it, because as I mentioned earlier, I'm not necessarily the biggest gummy guy. It's not one of my natural things I would be gravitated to. But we're gonna have to see if these ones will do the trick. Oh, see, now that's amazing. Those gummies are delicious. The gummy bears are amazing. The flavors come through so clear, so good. Very flavorful. I mean, it's artificially flavored, of course, but like it has all of the right flavoring. It's not too sugary or anything like that. It actually tastes like something when you bite down into it. And my personal favorite part of this, again, even though I'm not the biggest gelatin kind of fan, these are kind of more like softer gummy bears. They're not some of those ones. Some of the ones you have sometimes, even like the Haribo ones, when you bite into them, they're almost like like bricks and like can kind of be way too chewy and anything like that. This does have some resistance, but it also does sort of dissolve in your mouth a little bit pretty quickly when you start chewing up to it. I think it has the perfect amount of bounce and texture. These are absolutely and easily the best gummy bears I've ever had in my life. Again, shout out to you, Zach. You absolutely did something there. Crushed it, crushed it, crushed it. Keep killing it. I'm very interested what the proprietary flavoring it is you did to get this, because I've never really had a gummy bear that tasted like this. We'll see if it's infused with anything else as well. Give it about however amount of time is this imaginary watch that I just looked at. With that being said, before I completely lose my mind, I'm gonna go ahead and give Zach's gummies from the Drive Canteen an A tier. I only am putting it in the A tier and not the S tier just because I, again, personally am not the biggest gummy bears fan. But if I were ever to eat a gummy bear on the face of the earth, it would be these ones, and happily so. And when I got those gummies, they threw in a new little thing that they're testing out, which is some of their turbo sour candies. Now, personally, I know this may not be what any food scientist would tell you, but sour and spicy are definitely cousins to me. Something about them kind of hits the same little itch in the back of my brain. And as far as candies, I definitely do love a good sour candy. So these are kind of looking like sour worms. I'm hoping they have a bit of a Sour Patch vibe going to them. So what I'm hoping for out of this is like a Sour Patch Kid, but with the sour kicked up to insanity, or turbo, as the name would suggest. Let's see if this lives up to all of my dreams and more. Oh yeah. Oh, they were not joking. Yeah, that'll give you the pucker face. Ooh. Oh. No, but on a serious note, that's really, really good. It does have a strong, strong sour punch right in the mouth, right off the rip when you eat it. But again, good texture, good quality flavors. If you don't like sour, I don't think you're gonna be a fan of this because it does karate chop you right in the face. But for me personally, I absolutely love it, and I would brush a full bag of those. So thanks again for throwing that one in as a little bit of a gratuity. Much, much appreciated to you guys down at the canteen. Y'all are big friends of the channel, and I can't wait to do further collaborations with y'all down the road, because trust me, I got some things I want to cook up. Stay tuned for that, everyone. Where am I gonna put these turbo sours? Also, that's gonna have to go up in the A tier for me. I think personally. That's gonna have to sit, no, sorry, I misspoke. That's gonna have to go in the S tier for me. I put the turbo sours up in the S tier. Why I absolutely love these. This again, it's right around the corner from spicy. It's the candy version of spicy, to be honest. I'm sure there's spicy candies out there. I've never had one before, but I love a good Sour Patch Kid. And this is just one of those turned up to 11. Not quite to Warhead category, but maybe some of the lighter ends of those. It's the perfect amount of punch for a good sour candy lover like myself. All right, now to end it off, because I'm gonna need a bit of a palate cleanser. I don't know if this technically counts as a snack. I get it. I don't think it actually technically does count as a snack because it's not really, but I love these so much, and it's another Canadian exclusive, and I don't know where else I'm gonna get to espouse my love for these other than here, so I added it in this list, and that is Fisherman's Friend. If you're someone who knows me at all in real life, has ever seen me walking around anywhere in Vancouver, you know I've always got Fisherman's Friends on me. Everyone knows it. Anytime that they need a mint, you know you can count on your boy. And these, my friends, are the best mints on the face of the earth. I swear this is not an ad right now for Fisherman's Friends, but hey, if you guys want to send me some, just email me. It's in the description. Figure it out. We can make this happen. Like a very mutually beneficial relationship, I can say. But these things, especially the mint flavor one, the other flavors, not the biggest fan of them, I'm not gonna lie. But the mint flavored ones are absolutely the greatest mints on the face of the earth. It's like a combination of a cough drop and a mint all in one. It's got that pow mint flavor right in your face. It lasts for a good amount of time, and oh, absolutely delicious. If you have any kind of scratchy throat, any sort of thing like that, sinuses, any kind of thing, any type of stuff like that that you would normally have a cough drop for, this actually clears all that stuff up too, just like a cough drop, but tastes infinitely better because it has that, again, mint flavoring to it. So I absolutely love Fisherman's Friends, and because it's one of my favorite things that I get all the time since I've moved here to Canada, they've been a staple, always in my pocket. I had to include them in this list, and they are easily going straight into the S tier. Boom! All right, now that we've gotten through all of the contestants, I'm gonna look at this and do one more final re-ranking before I lock in my votes here. And I already can see I have a very, very skewed upper category for everything. I kind of think I was a little bit soft on a lot of these rankings and kind of gave a very generous high rating for a lot of this stuff, to be completely honest. So I'm gonna knock a few things down a peg for the most part. I don't think anybody's gonna go up from where they're at right now, but I am gonna move Bob's down to the D category, I think. I was very, very disappointed in that jerky, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit kind to it, but it just was way, way too dry, way too chewy. Couldn't really do it. I'm gonna move the Lay's ketchup, I think, down from a B to a C. Again, it's just fine. Like, I would literally go for pretty much any other chip flavor over than that. Like, I'm just not gonna, I'm not checking for it like that. It's not that crazy good to me. I think as well from here, I think I'm gonna move the Maynard's peach rings down to a B as well. Well, they were good. I've had quite a few different candies like that before, so that does leave it as a bit more of a middle of the road option. It's not anything groundbreaking. It's just good, fine, you know. Lastly, I do think, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm moving Coffee Crisp down to the A tier as well. Just not quite S tier. It's very delicious. They're like very, very good. They got a good crunch to them, but those other things, like, I could have any mood, any day of the week, any time, any place, anywhere, and I would be super, super happy with them. Coffee Crisp, it's not necessarily always that. It's very good, but I'm not always in the mood for chocolate, if I'm just being completely honest with myself. So I'm gonna lock this in now. So boom, that is my ranking, and that is how I feel about the Canadian snack landscape. Now, you guys might be screaming at your screens right now with lots of thoughts, agreements, any of that type of stuff. Guess what? The comments down below are a forum for us all to talk about that. And I would love to hear what you guys' opinions are of my rankings, and hear some rankings and opinions of you guys as well. And again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you are, and keep an eye out for a lot of great videos that we have to come. Got some really, really fun things that we're cooking up, a lot more on-site videos, checking out some amazing and fun things up next. So please, please stay tuned. But until next time, peace out, y'all.